We just pulled up to Northeast Columbia at the Cranley Road flip. Now this house we purchased for $110,000. In this situation, there was a remaining mortgage balance of $95,000 owed. We ended up assuming the mortgage balance on the property and we paid the difference, which ended up amounting to about $15,000 to meet the difference in that purchase price. Now, as far as the work that needs done, the house really wasn't in too bad of condition. We ended up having to mud all the walls, patch a few holes in the wall. Jesse came through, he sprayed the entire house from top to bottom. He's in the process of rolling it out with a real thick 18-inch naps, at which point he can cut in. We'll lay some flooring and really just touch up the rest with a nice little lipstick job. Let's check it out. So we've tried it a couple different ways. I used to have 2 separate crews running around the clock, and we had 3 people on one crew and 2 on the other, where we'd have a floater who would fill in where needed. And seeing both sides of that spectrum, Jesse himself, as a one-man crew, literally handles the amount of work and productivity that the whole team used to produce. So again, running a large organization or large crews is not always the best answer. The key is finding skilled labor and finding people that are 100% sold out for your team and your vision. So let's go ahead and take a look around the house just to check on the progress, and we can watch Jesse as he's literally painting and cutting in these lines with a paint sprayer. Tell me that ain't skills right there. This man takes his paddle up there and like butter, he just cuts it in. So again, the house didn't need a whole lot of work. There was a couple holes in the wall that needed to be patched up. Some of the bathrooms were a little bit outdated. We'll take a look in the master here. We can keep most of this. We went ahead and just did a coat of paint over the vanity. We'll keep the old vanity sink as it sits. These lights are going to stay because they're presentable. There was a couple patches he had to do on the wall here, but other than that, the master looks good. Take out the carpet. I don't understand why you'd ever have carpet inside of a bathroom, but for each their own. I guess builders used to operate differently. So anyways, we'll peel this up. We'll put some nice LVP on the floor here, and we'll carry that out throughout the rest of the house. So talking about the process with these rehab projects, depending on the scope of work that actually needs to be done, lipstick jobs and quick turns like this really are a pretty simple process. Again, we always start high, right? So you want to cover all the imperfections, you want to patch up any impurities in the wall, make sure all that's clean to go. Once you have a clean surface, we start with spraying it, right? We usually do a coat of Kilts. The Kills paint gives it a nice coat from top to bottom. After that, Jesse will come with some sealing paint, nice white coat, and then from there we're clean to start filling in the walls and cutting in as we work our way down to the floor. Again, because we're keeping a lot of the existing light fixtures and ceiling fans in the house, he went ahead and just wrapped these things up just for a quick coat, and it makes for easy installation on the back end as well. Again, it's a pretty quick turn. We didn't have to do any foundation or structural type of work, so it makes it easy. Once the painting is done, at that point we can rip up this old carpet. And the cool thing when you're not saving any of the flooring is that the carpet that's sitting here can really just be used as your layer, right? Because it's going to be trashed regardless. So it gives him the ability to come in quickly. He can make his moves, do the work from the top down, and when we get ready for the point to lay flooring, which is one of the last things that we want to do before we move on out of the house, rip up all the flooring. We'll lay some floating floor, some luxury vinyl LVP. And at that point, we can go to the outside of the house, secure the perimeter, and make sure that everything looks good to go on the backside. So next step in the process, as Jesse gets closer to his end result is we're gonna go ahead and put together a punch list, right? Punch list is very simple. It's simply a scope of work where we'll walk the entire house when he's getting close to project completion. Usually the best way to do this, we'll have a piece of blue tape in our hand, and I'll walk through the house with my Site Audit Pro app. Let's take a look on this. So the Site Audit Pro app is super cool. As soon as I pull it up, we got a new project. For the info, we'll just put Cranley Flip, right? That's done. Moving to the issues list. So at this stage, we're not quite ready for the punch list, but we'll walk through just to show you guys a quick scope. Ideally, the best time to go through this is once they get all the paint on the walls and we're getting to a close point where we're close to completion, but we want to get a final walkthrough as we go through the property to make sure that they're not missing anything on their side. Again, different perspectives might see different aspects that need to be touched up. So if we were to walk the project, which at this point we're probably about a week and a half out, right? We'd start walking the property and figuring out what needs to be done. So when it comes to the punch phase, we'll have a follow-up video that you guys can check out. But just for some quick information, especially if you're new to the rehabbing game, is you're gonna walk through the house, right? And just find if there's impurities or if there's something on the wall that needs touched up. Like Jesse's real clean with his painting. In some cases, we'll get a little bit of overspray, as you can see up here. But his plan in coming in here is he can cut that in with a paintbrush real quick on the way out, right? So I don't have to tell Jesse, but if I'm putting together a punch list that needs to be prepared, I would use the photo as pictured on the screen and say, clean up, cutting on ceiling, right? Real simple, and it directs them to the point exactly where it's located, right? So we'd put in master living space, clean up, cutting on the left side of the ceiling/wall where they intersect, period. Pretty simple, but again, by utilizing technology and putting a quick punch together, you can print out a quick site audit report to hand to your crews so that they stay on track and they can be efficient in pushing through the process. Now, same thing in here if I'm walking through and I see something, right? Maybe we're missing a knob in the bathroom, or maybe the shower head needs adjusted, or whatever the case might be. It's our job at that point when we're going through the walkthrough, getting close to project completion, that we can point out the small little issues so that they don't wrap the entire project up, put their finishing touches, and then we have a couple things to identify. So checking on here, again, not a whole lot of complaints in here, right? But we're assuming all this taped off material in here would get taken off, right? And we can just make sure that, okay, everything's clean, it's cut in well, it's got all the light bulbs, got everything else so it's presentable and ready to be list ready. So let's go run in with Jesse and get a little bit of the insight that he sees on the back end as far as the projects, the progress that we have, a lot of moving parts in the background. Looking at the scope of, let's say, this past year, right? A lot of different things. We've gone from gutting a trailer and having to remove a bunch of subfloor to clearing off a big piece of land for the compound. Obviously, quick flips like this. Where would you say that your sweet spot is? Like, what do you enjoy doing the most, where you thrive when you're at work?
Oh, woodwork. I love doing woodwork.
Yeah?
Yeah. Creating things and building things back to exactly like it used to be is pretty awesome.
I love it. So how do you feel when you open up walls, right, where you got like significant damage, you got to brace it up? One of the last projects we did, you had to brace it to the wall, get in there and support it.
Well, I used to be nervous about that, but confidence is the key to make sure that you do your job properly. If you go on a job nervous, then you'll never get anything done.
Yeah. So stepping in, when Jesse started working with us, funny story. I met Jesse in the hot tub at our local gym, right? We just sat in there and we dipped. And Jesse's like, hey man, what's up? And we just started talking, and come to find out he was in construction. Well, I got his number at that point, and it was probably close to a year, right? We didn't touch bases for a year, and I had a big project coming through that we had to fire a crew that was just messing up. And I called Jesse like, hey man, what's up? Call out of the blue. Are you interested in jumping on some jobs? And he's like, yes. And that's, how long ago was that?
About 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, 2.5 years. He's been with us ever since. That's incredible, man. It's been a journey to say the least. And he's actually the last man standing too. Again, we had some big crews at one point. But Jesse's the one that just stayed on course. And again, he's one of the most humble people that you'll see in the space. He does amazing work. He's skilled and he shows up to work. Never hear this man complain, right? Even when house is on fire, something back home and things are falling apart, Jesse's never going to tell you like he's having issues, right? He's always focused. He always shows up and means what he's going to do. So looking at that, right, you came in with a broad amount of skill sets when you started working with us. Would you, in the process, there's been some different things we've stretched into, right, that have challenged you to like try new things?
Never did a lot of tile work until I met you, like backsplash and bathrooms, but I've definitely done a lot of that now. And designer walls and really different things that I've never done that you've opened me up to.
So someone that looks at my personality from the back end, whenever I tell you that I'm done, like at the office or another project, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
When is he going to call me for the next project?
I'm telling you, I got like a squirrel brain. It's the blessing of having a visionary personality type, but I'm always like thinking like, what can we do next? What can we do next? So I'm always like throwing random change orders on Jesse. So he's like, dude, I'll be like, all right, dude, this is the last project at the office. He's like, dude, shut up.
I used to get stressed out about that, but I don't even worry about it now. Yeah. He calls me, I'm like, oh, got something new to do today. So.
Yeah, that's funny, man. It's almost like you've learned my flow, and she just kind of like, all right, let's go with it. I think that's a good principle in life and business, right? If you think about, it takes a while to get in the ebbs and the flows, right? It takes a while to build relationships. It takes a while to learn like any new job or field that you're stepping into. But the same exact thing, like when we're building teams internally, we got to really work through the process, one, in order to learn each other's personality types, our work styles. Let's identify if we're good fits to work together, right? Because you get two like stubborn people in the same room and it never works.
True. And like today, when you said you were coming over, I didn't stress out about it. I just kept working like it was a normal day.
Yeah.
When we were with the crews, they were like, oh, Ben's on the way. Let's get hard to work. Let's do everything that we're supposed to do today.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to do that every day, so.
There you go. Yeah, so again, when we were doing a lot of rehabs, because big focus with us now is just lead generation, and we find deals and we just siphon it through to these big institutions, right? Big hedge fund buyers. That really is the model. It's quick, it's easy. So we've scaled back a lot, right? When we were doing a bunch of flips, having 3 projects going all at once, right? 3 or 4 projects, it was just chaos, right? And it took me out of my sweet spot and what I did best, and I had to turn into a manager, right? Going from different sites, oversee people, make sure that things are getting pushed through, and I realized that it doesn't keep me in my zone. So important to find out what you're passionate about, find out what you're good at, and find out what you can make money somewhere in that gap, and you go all in with that. Foundational principle of business. So I guess moving along here, what are your thoughts as far as completion date? Should be done painting within the next couple days, right? Maybe by tomorrow, have most of it cut in.
It should be done painting tomorrow.
So it sounds like I might need to get Trevon on the phone to get some carpet in those. And
are we doing carpet everywhere or just laminate flooring?
So we're definitely going to do laminate, float the laminate throughout here.
Before you get carpet in, I should do the laminate flooring so he can tuck the transitions in.
That's the reason that I like getting Trevon in first is that he takes out all the old material, right? Even when it's throughout the rest of the house. And then he could put it in the new rooms, and then we got a clean canvas just to go ahead and float the floor right on top, you know? Yeah. But we'd have to throw a transition strip over the entryways if we let Trevon come in first, right? Okay, so looking at the benefits of each side here, it's either that or what type of productivity do you see us losing if you had to tear the carpet out, and drag it out back for Trevon to pick up.
Wouldn't
Maybe
be that
a couple
bad.
hours, huh?
I gotta
Hour.
tear that floor up anyways.
Okay.
I'll be in the process of destroying all that anyways.
All right, let's do that. Let's, you can take a razor blade wherever it's like run through, right? And let's just,
Right. Most of the doors are already cut.
let's cut it there. And then cut it there. So you can float it. Get that stuff, we'll throw it out back.
Are we going into the kitchen with the laminate?
Yeah, we might as well. We might as well do it right. And then I'll get Trevon on the schedule once we have that. Those entryways, once those are sewn up, that's the only carpet that's going to be done. So we'll start on this side, float it on that way and start coming here, and then he'll have an easy in.
Yeah, he should be able to tuck it right to the edge of the laminate floor.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. So we got 3 bedrooms, and that's it. Bathroom floor. Yeah, we'll just float these two.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take it straight in.
We'll just float some waterproof on these. Awesome. That's the play, bro. And that's it. Rehabbing houses doesn't need to be that difficult. It really can be an easy process if you have the right people in place and the right mentors in your corner. See you guys on the other side.